How you doing? My name is Mike Morgan. I'm the head men's lacrosse coach here at Merrimack College. We're going to walk you through a lot of our offensive, defensive drills we run during our practice on a daily basis. Hope you enjoy. So one of the drills we like to do for our stick work with our defensive players and our two-way midfielders and our face-off guys to begin a few practices a week is what we call T-passing. So there's 3 guys on the outside, approximately about 15, 20 yards. You can vary that depending on how long you want the passes on the outside. And there's 1 guy on the inside facing those 3. 2 of the guys on the outside are carrying a ball and 1 is not. And this is your guy who's obviously the guy who's in the main part of the drill. So on the whistle, one of these balls comes in from the outside. And basically, once it hits here, the open man on the outside will call for the ball. So when that ball hits here, it comes out to here. So when that ball is in the air and it's being delivered, he locates where the ball is coming from, which is obviously the next guy over here. That ball's coming in, and then it's going right back out to the middle guy who now doesn't have a ball. So basically, the point of the drill is to keep the guy on the inside, continuously head on a swivel, catching and quickly delivering to the open man. So it works on his footwork, it works on his vision of finding the open man, and obviously works on his passes and getting rid of the ball quickly, which likes to mimic, within our clearing game, having an attackman, pressuring him pretty quickly where he's got to locate a man up the field.
All right, so this is one of our first defensive warm-up drills, stick drills that we do. We have 3 guys about 5 yards apart in a stack, and 2 of them have balls. 1 doesn't have a ball. And then you can see there's a single defender on the left over there, Brennan Morin, who doesn't have a ball. And basically what we're working on is balls coming in from the outside, obviously 1 at a time, and then the guy inside is locating the ball, catching it, and getting it out to a guy on the outside who doesn't have the ball, who communicate, obviously, here's your help, and then another ball comes in, as you can see. So what it is, it gets you working on, obviously, locating the ball in the air, catching it, finding the open man, and getting it out quickly. So, we focus on the guys on the outside, moving their feet, staying active. So you could do this drill. We do it here, 15 yards apart, which is a pretty, medium pass, but you can shorten it up and do really quick inside passes, or, you can move it back 25, 30 yards, and it almost mimics over passes. But you can see, we're trying to get the guy inside to, give him better target and better passes like he's starting to get here. Guy's starting to get a little warmer as we move. But, on the outside, it's a lot of communication, stick up. We try to get it on the guy pretty quickly right after. And then, when he gets about, 10 or 12 reps, we'll switch it up. And as you can see, we'll bring a new guy inside now, and Eric Coburn. And, essentially he now, is going righty, back to the outside. So what we'll do is we'll go righty rotation. So as you can see here, everybody has their stick in their right hand, overhand passes, and then as we go through one rotation, we'll go lefty. And then if you want to mix it up, we do sometimes, ground balls rolling in and passes going out. And there's a bunch of variety that we do within that.
So one of the other warm-up drills we do for our long sticks, we like to call star passing. So we have the middle guy, obviously located in the middle, and the perimeter guys are about 15 to 20 yards wide of him. So what we do is we start the ball at 2 adjacent guys over here, ball here, ball here. There's no ball on the inside. So on the whistle, this ball comes in. He goes right back out to the same guys. So as he turns, we're going to rotate counterclockwise in this way, in this drill. So basically the next ball is right on top of him. So while that ball is coming in, this man has received the ball back. He throws an overpass to here. So that ball comes in again. It goes right back out. So this man will turn and he'll receive the ball from here while that ball is coming over. So continuously you're throwing 15-yard passes. You're mixing in, your short-term or your short-range passes to the inside, which are about, 15 yards, and then you're throwing about a 30-yard over. So this gets maximum reps, and what you can do is you can obviously rotate it counterclockwise, which would be catching righty and throwing back out to the perimeter, and then rotating the other way. And again, what we're trying to accomplish is getting a variety of overs and short passes inside lefty and righty, depending on which way you're rotating. And then obviously the guys on the outside want their feet moving, want them communicating, giving a big target, catching and delivering the overpass when they receive it back from the inside.
All right, second drill we're doing here, stick work wise for our defenders, and our two-way guys and face-off guys is we call star passing. four-man star here. So we had 4 on the outside, 2 balls adjacently, and then the other 2 guys do not have balls. We place guys about 10 or 15 yards apart. The man on the inside is the guy who's going to do most of the heavy lifting. So again, we'll start righty here where everybody on the outside has the stick in their right hand, and Eric's going to be working counterclockwise here. So basically when the first ball comes in adjacently, he goes back to the same player, and that player throws an overpass to the next guy. So you'll see number 44 here on the opposite side will throw the first ball in. Eric will throw back to him, and right away he'll throw an overpass to number 5. So you'll see it gets you basically a lot of reps, a lot of touches. It gets the outside guys throwing 5-yard passes and 25-yard passes. So it keeps this guy moving. So, we want to make the guy on the inside have to catch as many as possible and work, as fast as possible to get around the rotation. So again, you can shorten this up. We're obviously did an abbreviated version here just to kind of give you an idea of, how we rotate. We'll get guys to the outside, 1 in, 1 out. We'll keep the rotation going. So again, 5-yard pass to a 25-yard over and back in. So once you want to go lefty, obviously all you do is everybody switches hands to their left and we rotate it clockwise. Again, you can do behind the back. You can do obviously ground balls in, passes out. So it's just another drill that essentially, we get the guys' sticks moving. They're catching a variety of different passes.
One of the other drills we like to do to warm up with our long sticks, our 2-ways, and our face-off guys, the drill we call zone clearing. Basically, it's a competition. Teaches them to clear their hands, get open with a guy on them, and reinforces working in those tight spaces when you're picking up a ground ball in front of the net. You're trying to break out the guy on you and locate you in transition. So the way the drill starts is in this setup, we basically have 2-on-2 here, 3-on-3 here, and 2-on-2 here. So there's 3 zones. In zone 1, like I mentioned, it's 2-on-2. In zone 2, it's 3-on-3. In zone 3, it's 2-on-2. So basically what we use is the restraining line to the hash is zone 1, the hash to the hash is zone 2, and the hash to the other restraining line is zone 3. So within those zones, like I said, this is how you can set it up. You can really set it up however you want with your blue versus your white or whatnot. So in this scenario, X will start with the ball over here, and basically you have to reach each zone and then to the end zone. So basically you have to complete a pass to the next zone, to an open man, to the next zone, and then that person has to run it out. So basically what you're doing is you're teaching these guys on the inside to have to break out, to get open, to usually saw they're coming off picks. It really gives you a little bit of offensive flair to your defensive side of the ball. So once you reach this end zone, it's a point for X, and then white gets it, or O gets it, who would be white in this case. If X is blue, it goes back the other way. So you keep score. You can play to 11. It gets really competitive with the guys, being in each other's hands. And if the ball's on the ground and they turn it over, the other team starts up going right back the other way. So it's conceptually almost like a football setup. It's a drill that Coach Pollock from the lacrosse, from the soccer world gave us. We kind of tweaked it to look this way. But the principles of the drill, you can't go higher than restraining line and you can't go lower than goal line extended, and you use these 3 zones. So you'll see it tonight. It gets very competitive.
So one of our last stick drills, which is also kind of a, moving in space, clearing your hands, under pressure and delivering the ball in tight quarters. We like to call this our zone clearing competition. So basically you have 3 zones from the restraining line down the alley to the hashes. And then you have basically the hash to the hash right down the middle of the field. And then the opposite hash to the opposite restraining line. So there's 3 zones. And basically once you get into that 3rd zone and clear that 3rd zone, it's almost like a touchdown. So right here, we set it up 4-on-4, where you can vary how many guys you want in each zone. Right here you can see, white's putting two guys in the middle and 1 on the outside in each hash, and obviously blue will match that. So you're playing 4-on-4 or 5-on-5. So you're throwing 10-yard passes, 15-yard passes. The guys breaking out. They're obviously trying to get open. They're trying to move the ball to the next zone. So it's very difficult because obviously you're trying to navigate a lot of pressure, a lot of pull. So mimicking this in practice and playing for points is obviously a good competition drill for the guys, but it also makes game situations easier when short stick attackman is riding them. It's going to be a lot easier, and if they're used to pulls and a lot of pressure and obviously tight spaces. So you can see where those cones are set up now are the zones, and essentially what we'll do now is we'll start with the ball at 1 player. If we start with white, they have to clear it, 2 zones and through that last zone for a point. And we'll play to, 7, we'll play to 10, depending on how much time we have. And again, you can change the variety to as much, you can go 3-on-3 and have 1 guy in each zone of each team, or you can obviously go as many as, 5 or 6 if you really want. So again, this is a drill that Coach Pollock brought to us, which, again, it's going to challenge the guys to be able to move without the ball, get open, clear their hands, communicate, give good targets. So, you can see it's going to be hard, moving from zone to zone. So you got to move, you can't carry the ball into the next zone. You can only push it. So, the guys have to get creative, so you got to throw really tight window passes. So now you can see White moves it into the middle zone. Again, they're trying to throw a spot feed through. They get lucky, and then, if he can clear it here, again, turns it over, so there's no point. So again, you get the ball to that last zone, unless you clear it through, you don't get a point. So now blue goes back the other way, essentially gets one knocked down. So again, these scores, that's why you play to 5 or 7, because, that could go on for 15 minutes. These guys compete, and obviously, defensively, you're trying to pressure as much as possible. So there's some hidden conditioning here too. You got to throw some obviously risky passes as well. So, it gives the defensive guys almost more of an offensive mind, when they're playing, even picking for each other and stuff. So it's another skill that we're trying to develop, within these guys' game, where they're used to carrying under pressure. They're used to throwing a variety of different passes. So it gets a little sloppy here, obviously. Guys trying to get a little too creative. So, if they're not scoring, it means there's more conditioning. So again, they got to be efficient as time goes by. And blue's going to apply some pressure here. So again, just a really good drill overall for the guys to compete, and play to a certain point level. And then you can sub guys in and, certainly get the competition flowing for 10 or 15 minutes.
So the first drill we do pretty much every day at practice in our pregame before games as well is called warm-up footwork. Basically, it encompasses a bunch of different routines. So the first routine is our star, which we'll do at half speed and then full speed, which basically there's 4 lines, and there's guys obviously located behind each one of these. So on the whistle, they come out, they break down, they shuffle to their left, drop step, they come back up, they go out, they come back up. So basically, it mimics looking like a star, and they get all the reps of their back pedal, opening up right, opening up left, and breaking down. So the things we'll look for within this to make sure they're coming out broken down, hand in the pocket, stick out in front, chest is square, they're nice and low, they have their feet underneath them, and then their footwork is clean on all these drop steps. They're not coming up. We like to call it, closing the window when we get our stick to the inside to take away a skip lane. So we'll do this in a variety of different footwork within the star. Our shuffle, we'll just line up, about whatever it is, 12, 15 guys deep in a row. First guy comes out, we do a routine of basically 3 separate sets. So we'll do just your typical shuffle, 5-yard drop steps. We always keep our hands moving. You'll see us, running figure 8s with our hands, which basically trains our guys to keep their feet moving while their hands are moving. And, we're a team that presses out on the hands, and it's, it's necessary to play our style to be able to run with a attackman, to be able to also, obviously put your stick on them at the same time. So the second one we'll do, after we do just a straight shuffle, is we call it back pedal opening shuffles. So basically they're coming backwards and they're opening their hips while throwing checks. So it mimics a guy dodging downhill on you, where you have your stick out in front and you got to open up right or left. So basically it's very quick. Those are about, a yard opening at most. And then the last one we do is basically very similar to the first one, where they're opening up fully to one side or the other. So, they'll be going lefty drop step to righty drop step to lefty drop step. So it's a different variety. So we do this about a 5-minute routine every day to get the legs moving, to mimic all the different angles. We really concentrate on the approach angles, the approach form, opening up the right way, and all that comes with, your first day of defense, which we teach. And this is something that drives that point home every day.
So we get onto our footwork here. This is one we do every single day in practice. So it's our warm-up footwork drill. So we have a couple different varieties of it. So you can see right here, James Bassett, who's up first. We'll do our regular just shuffles to drop steps here. So, again, we're focusing on getting those shoulders square and that chest up and that butt low, and we're obviously going to be shuffling, keeping our stick up. So one of the things we always do when we're in our stick in our footwork drills is we want to keep those hands moving in a figure 8 line. So it trains the guys to obviously move those feet as well as move the hands at the same time. So we'll give the guy in front of you about 10 yards. So it's just your typical form drill where you go about 10 or 15 yards drop step. And we always want to focus on too, when you do drop step, we call it closing the window. You get that stick to the inside, so in case there's a skip pass to the crease or a through pass, we're in position to go to it. So we never want to, open up out of our stance on our drop step and keep our stick low, near our feet or near our hip. We always want to have it up. And again, you see the guys train those hands. So, the style of defense we play, which is, very up-tempo, being on the hands in good position type style defense, we always want to make sure that we can move those feet and be in the right position on the right approach and the right angles, but also be stick active, So as you can see here, we have our two-way guys in this as well. So as you can see, we always want to really emphasize when they come out of that break that they're exploding off that inside foot too, so they can stay with their man. So you can see the guys will, they'll run a variety of different checks as well. They'll run the figure eights, they'll throw some slaps. So this is more of your backpedaling, open up drill. So this mimics, whether it be a midfielder dodging downhill from up top on a two-way or an LSM, or it mimics guy dodging from X where you're going to be backpedaling and you're going to open up to your right or open up to your left. So it really gets those hips exploding and opening and pushing off that front foot. So same premise. You always want to have the guys chest square, low to the ground, good feet underneath you. The third part we get into here is basically our crucifix drill, where we come out and we run a variety of different footworks. Where we come out, we go to our drop step, we go to our left, we come back inside, so we're always mimicking coming back to the hub, but we're just going to kind of go through it, at half speed here to kind of show you, and then go through it at full speed. Again, stick up, feet underneath you. So this is another drill just we do, like we said, every day that gets the guy's footwork going, and it mimics everything we're going to do defensively, within the possession.
One of the other drills we really like to do, and we've been doing this for a while now, is a drill called GIPO. It's an acronym for Get In, Play Out. So basically what it teaches our guys, a little bit from the warm-up footwork, is that approach, coming out under control, arriving on the hands while the ball's arriving. The first kind of level of things we teach in terms of just the form and whatnot, anticipation. We also talk about reading body language. So in this drill, the ball will start up top. You can really do variety of different formations. So we happen to be doing a 4v3 right here, where you're four offensive players on the outside, 3 defensive players inside. You can do a 3v2, a 5v4, or 6v5. I mean, you can really do whatever you want with it to ramp it up to, whatever level of play you want on that given day. So basically the ball will start here. So one of the defenders will approach, break down. The other 2 defenders will split the inside cone and basically read body language of the top guy. So we give the defenseman enough time to get out and break down and be in the hands, but we do want the ball moving pretty quickly to make these guys inside work. So when the ball hits here, we're going to read body language. If he opens up here to throw lefty, this defenseman gets north of the cone, ready to slide out. He gets in and drops and helps. So basically if the ball moves here, this defenseman pops out and he's on the high side. Obviously, if the net's here, we always want to arrive on the high side, on the right side over here of the field. And then this defenseman who gets in, he'll play the low. And this guy opens up, like we said, he closes the window to the inside, and he drops and he shares the inside cone. So if the ball moves to X, this bottom defender who's on the bottom of the cone now will play out quickly behind X, and then the same thing, drops inside. So basically the concepts of the drill, that first level of anticipation, breaking down, stick out in front, good form, good approach angles. The second part is next level. We're starting to read body language, of the man with the ball. So if he opens up to his left, we start to cheat to the left. So it's, again, sharing the inside, but also being on good approaches to the outside. And it's also the communication. You got to communicate with the guys inside, and we don't want the ball just going in one direction the whole time. These guys can get creative with switching up to keep them honest inside. But, you always want to be able to get out, and then basically play back in. So again, if you're able to get out, you'll be able to get back in, you want to communicate that. So that's one of the drills that we'll do to kind of pound home the approaches, but also sharing the inside and working as a team on the crease area.
So this drill we'll go into now is one of our footwork and approach drills. We call GIPO, which is an acronym for Get In, Play Out. So you'll see what we'll do is configure the field here in a 1-4-1 look where we'd have one person behind, 2 on the wing, 1 on each wing, obviously, and 1 high. So we'll put a cone inside with our 3 defenders. So once we have the formation set up, essentially what you're doing is having the 3 guys inside working against the 4 on the outside. So you're always going to have 1 guy approaching ball, 2 guys sharing the inside, and then one of the 2 inside guys, when we read body language, will be able to go adjacently to the next ball. So you'll see here we have, 1 guy high, 2 guys in the wings, and we'll have 3 defenders inside in blue. So we'll move this cone out here to the wing. So again, we're in a 1-4-1 formation offensively. You can do this with your offensive players too. We just use it with our other poles and our 2 ways. So right now we're in a 1-4-1. So the 3 guys inside before the first pass is made all start inside. and then the ball will move up top here, and you'll see Ryan Burke, who's the top guy, who will be on the approach. So again, it's the same technique we went over during our footwork drills and whatnot. It's approaching with your stick out in front, broken down. The two inside guys will share. So here you'll see us go live in it, or at half speed. So ball comes out, Ryan's broken down, stick out in front. The two inside guys will read body language. 28 starts to push 37 out the back. So now once the ball moves adjacently, we always want to focus on approaching on the hand. So you got to work a lot harder. You got to be able to read body language, and the two slide has to be able to push the inside guy out quick so he can be out and be on the hand. So you got to work really hard, but again, we're not gonna substitute any of the form, for going fast. So you'll see within the drill, we are moving fast, but we want the form to be consistent. So we'll go live here with this group of three, and we'll have another group ready to go right out of it. So on the whistle, our approach starts adjacently. We'll push the man out the back. So again, you always want to make your way back to the cone. And when the ball moves adjacently, you always want to close the window, get that stick to the inside, and take away a skip lane. So again, these guys got to work hard to be out and broken down before this man catches the ball and in good form. So again, they can reverse the ball. So you can't cheat. You got to be smart and get inside and communicate. So we tell the guys on the outside to take about a cradle or two to give these guys just a second to get out there and be broken down. So there's one look. We'll bring another group in now with another goalie, so the goalies can command it as well. You can really do this in a variety of ways. This is just, like I said, a 1-4 look offensively, but you could put two cones behind and two up top, and it looks more like a 2-2. You can put one cone behind, two on the wings, and two high. It looks like a 1-3-2, and you can change the amount of guys you have inside that are working together. We just so happen to like the 4-on-3 probably the best, but you can see here, we have two of our 2A guys in here working as well. So they want to be able to talk and communicate and get out on the hands, be broken down on good approaches, communicating. Again, we're a little late on the approach there, but overall pretty good. It's going to have them working hard, working on their form.
So the bocce drill we like to do it basically encompasses 4 different dodging areas. You can vary up top if you want, but we mainly work on these with our down defenders. So what we'll do is we'll set up 4 cones. 2 are about 15 yards high.